Welcome. We are back charting. Um, you guys know the deal. Basically, gonna run through a few things in the beginning that I just want to go over, and when I'm done with that, we're gonna look into chat requests. For the 25 people here already, thank you very much for showing up. Make sure to hit that like button. Just helps to grow the channel. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to send me a tip, it is the first link in the description. So yeah, I'm gonna get into a bunch of things. Already at 29 people today, so thank you very much for that. Um, Give me one second. I'm just turning on my TV real quick. But yeah, crazy stuff all across the market. Crypto being pretty volatile right now, going up and down. Stocks pretty much opened really well, especially like the SPAC stocks and the recent runners. And then after that, looks like a lot of them ended up like selling off towards like the midday, and then some of them bounced back towards the end. But aside from just that, it looked like the whole entire market as a whole, like in terms of the indexes, went up quite a bit. Futures are sitting at 36.48, so that's good. They were up to 36.55 on the S&P. S&P got really close to all-time highs, and then I think a bunch of other indexes did actually hit their all-time highs. Thank you for the subscription, Joanne. But yeah, that just starts things off. Let's get into the actual analysis and see what's up. Before I get into anything, actually, I want to take a look at BigCommerce. Let's get some hype in the chat because BigCommerce actually, hold up, I'm just buying a crypto right now, guys. BigCommerce basically hit the target, it hit both targets. It had a good day today, going up 7%, and it went up 20% since I posted it at about like $67. So good stuff on BigCommerce for sure. And yeah, hype in the chat for that for sure. What is up, Print? What's up, Mr. S? Thank you for the subscription, Stock Tunes. That is BigCommerce. Another big runner today was Tilray. Posted it with the buy level of 673, closed at 781, and I think it went to like 793 after hours. So about like a 20% profit on Tilray. So that's two different 20% profits that were secured today. Just great stuff on those two trades especially. So that's just two things I wanted to start off with. 7 likes already. Let's get 3 more. Let's hit 10 likes really fast. I know 3 out of the 36 people here haven't liked. I know 29 out of you haven't liked because we have 7 likes and 36 people in here. So make sure that's not one of you. Hit that like button. Now let's take a look at Fisker, which I usually do in the beginning of my streams. And if you know the whole entire story with Fisker, I was super bullish on Fisker when it was at the PCZ of the bullish butterfly at $9. The target was 18.21, which was the A point. That's like the second target of a bullish butterfly. That target hit. So I made a 30-minute video when the price was 9 and it went to 18, 100% profit. And then I've been talking about the 18.21 resistance. That's where it pulled back. If we zoom in a little bit, I also warned about the $17.50 resistance on Fisker, which it tested a bunch of times. And pretty much every single time it tested that, it created a lower low on price. So you had the same exact resistance line, but a downsloping demand line. And that equals a right-angled descending broadening wedge, which is a bullish pattern. You also have hidden bullish divergence on the 1 hour on both your RSI and MACD. You made a higher low on price, but you made a lower low on the MACD and the RSI, which implies price continuation to the upside. So the 1 hour is looking good. If we go back to the daily on Fisker, it is also creating a bull flag. You have 2 touches on the top, 3 touches on the bottom. So that is a textbook bull flag on the daily. Definitely, that is the exact thing you want to see after having a massive run up. Now, do keep in mind, it could go back to 14.99. I'm not saying that, the downtrend is over. It still could keep on dropping, but the macro is bullish for Fisker. And why do I say 14.99? Because that was your resistance pretty much from like the second half of September to the first half of October. So that's like the major support. It's going to be hard to get under 14.99, but of course nothing isn't possible. But then again, we're already over, we're already well above that, sitting about pretty much $1 over that. So it should be fine. Yeah, that is Fisker. There's your 1 hour right angle descending broadening wedge and the bull flag on the daily. Seen a bunch of tickers in the chat, already at 42 concurrent viewers, so thank you guys very much. We're going to be going through everything. Make sure to hit that like button for all the people just joining in, just helps to grow the stream. If you're not subscribed already, you definitely should be for the free analysis. And tip me if you want. It's the first link in the description. Still super hyped about the 20% on BigCommerce and the 20% on Tilray, as well as the dozens of others from the past 2 weeks. One more like to 20. Let's get there. IDEX has been on a crazy run, but there's no TA that I can do on IDEX. It's just like a straight line up. So not too much for me to do on Tilray, unfortunately. Yeah, Peloton did pull back a decent amount today. If we look at it, my daily should not look alright. So Peloton basically from 100, it went all the way up to 115. And you're saying there was some bad news today. And then it pulled back to 105, so definitely had a bad day. It's at 105. The support is 100. The gap fill is 124. As long as it holds above 100, it should be fine. I don't know what it went to after hours, but it's just kind of being weird. Personally, I haven't been in Peloton for a little bit. There definitely was a 15% profit to be made, which I posted on Twitter. I just got stopped out because of a stupid tight stop loss that I put on my trade, but it happens for sure. LMND, I'll try my best to get to it. Print says Bloomberg reports customers canceling orders and they cannot make delivery dates. That sounds very similar to Tesla like 2 days ago with all their production and delivery issues. I don't know. I mean, it kind of does show the demand that's there, but obviously that's not something you want to have from a customer satisfaction standpoint. And also it just prevents you from getting revenue in the short term. But yeah, the tickers are coming in hot. Let's start looking at some of those. Yeah, sure, let's just go for takers, and then I'll probably go over things I want to go over later, just because we have a lot of people in here. So I guess we could start off with, there's a lot coming in, so I just have to pick and choose. I can't get to them all, I'm sorry, but I'll try my best. Let's go with TTCF. I'm going to try and run through these tickers like a little bit faster today, just so we can get to as many as possible. Thank you guys very much for 25 likes already. I think that's the fastest we've hit 25 likes, so I really appreciate that. TTCF, I've been talking about 1606 for a long time. It needs to hold above it. It did get above it and then it fell back under. I don't know what it's sitting at after hours, but literally it's super simple. Hold $16 and bullish, fail to stay above $16 and bearish. $16 was the support 2 times in October, and it was your resistance in July and August. So $16 is the level to look out for TTCF. General thoughts about crypto. It's interesting for sure. Greg, thank you for the $20 donation. Really appreciate it. He did request a ticker. Let me see what he requested. Let's go to, where is it at? Right here. Thank you very much for the 20. Really appreciate that. Great way to start off the stream. He's asking for FRAN, so we're going to take a look at that right away. Again, for the newer people in here, any tip $3 or higher, I will look at it literally immediately just as a thank you for the tip. Yeah, this is FRAN. 1581 on TTCF after hours. So yeah, it needs to get back over $16. But yeah, this is Fran. There was not any bullish divergence on the daily. No divergence on the 4 hour. I don't know, this one's a little bit strange. It is sitting right under the 200-day moving average, so that's probably the easiest resistance to look at. There's also another resistance at like 382 or something like that. Let's just call it like 379. Yeah, that definitely could be a resistance. Not much of a pattern. I'm going to have to look at the 1 hour because there's just not a lot on the 4 hour daily. So this is very interesting. It's just a very clear upsloping rally. If anything, it kind of looks like it broke whatever demand line it did have. Like if you look at it like this, it broke out to the downside, and now it's just back testing that breakout to the downside, so it could pull back here. It's just weird. It's kind of neutral. There's not much of an edge on the 4-hour daily. It is above the VWAP, but it is under the 200-day moving average. So if it can flip this green demand line and make it support once again, it could run up to 379 pretty easily. But again, this could literally right here be a reversal area. So just keep that in mind. It's just pretty neutral if I'm being honest. Don't want to, say anything else. But yeah, 379 and the 200-day moving average are pretty tough resistances. If it can break that, like for real, if it can break that, there is a gap fill to $5.01. So it's literally, you need to break 379. If you can't break that, who knows how low it can go. But if it ever does break 379 in the 200-day moving average, there could be a very quick markup in price, because every time 379 is broken, it's just a straight line up. So breaking 379 could be huge, but until then, it's just kind of neutral. Thank you again for the $20. Nailed the PLTR prediction yesterday. Guess we could take a look at PLTR for sure. Where is it at? PLTR right here. So again, this is 3 for 3 on PLTR, not because I'm a wizard, because I'm using Fibonacci. That's literally why. So let's look at PLTR yet again. Here's the story with PLTR. Keep on hitting that like button, guys and girls. 3 more likes to 30 likes. Thank you guys so much for the support. So here's the story with PLTR. Charted it at $16. I said if it broke the ascending triangle at $16, the next target would be 1865. It went right up to 1865, which was the 1618 Fibonacci extension. It used that as resistance for a few days. Then it broke that. Then it went right up to the 2618. Used it as resistance for like 1 day. So yeah, it pulled back to the 2618 once it hit the 2618. And then it broke the 2618. And where did it go? Literally right after breaking the 2618. The 3618. Today it went to the 3618 right away. Thank you for the $3 donation. Let me just fix that. Trying to fix my layout. It's a little bit messed up. Went right to the 3.618 triple golden ratio. So literally all it's been doing is consolidating at each golden ratio and then running up to the next one immediately. I do think that there could be a pullback in the near future just based on how much it's up. But Dan L, thank you for the $20 donation. Really appreciate it. Trying to keep a look at the chat. J Gra 3, thank you as well. Really appreciate the donations, guys. It means a lot to me. Never would have thought that we'd be here. Thank you for 30 likes, 45 viewers. We are going off tonight. The support is insane. Thank you guys very much. What is up, Jay, in the chat? Greg Savage. So yeah, thank you guys so much. For the last 2 people that tipped, I didn't see any ticker requests in the donation. So if you guys want me to look at something, just drop it in the chat. But thank you guys very much, unless you're just sending the tip. Really appreciate it. Yeah, awesome support, guys. Thank you so much. Steve says, what level of trading view do you have? Is that a custom MACD indicator? This is not a custom MACD indicator. I have the pro version of TradingView. I actually got it last night because they have a Black Friday sale right now. I actually have a link in the description. If you hit the link in the description, it says free charting software or something like that. If you hit that link, it'll take you right to the Black Friday deal that they have. And if you also get a pro subscription with TradingView like I have, it will help me out. I think it'll pay for like 2 weeks or a month of my pro. So it's like an affiliate link, and it is in the description if you want to find out where that is at. Definitely a lot of tickers coming in. Yeah, the sale is pretty crazy. It's like 40% off, I think, is what I got on the pro plan, something like that. Tyler says, you think there will be a pullback tomorrow, being the day before Thanksgiving? That is something I definitely want to get into. And that's interesting. So personally, I have a weird theory. This is literally just for fun. Do not take this seriously. Do not make trades off of what I'm saying. Do your own research and make your own choice. This is just something I personally noticed. Okay. So, the last two times that the S&P 500 made an all-time high, literally the day after it made a new all-time high, it dumped. So on September 2nd, it made a new all-time high. The next day on September 3rd, it fell down a lot. Then it recently made an all-time high on November 9th. The day after, it fell down a lot. 2% on the S&P 500 is a big move across the market. So if you can see right here, the S&P 500 is inches away from making a new all-time high. So currently it's 2 for 2 on dumping the day after there was an all-time high, so I'm just keeping that in mind. But at the same time, like generally speaking, an all-time high is usually a good thing. Usually when things see all-time highs, that means that there's no resistance looking left. So technically, like about like 65% of the time, being at an all-time high can easily lead to higher prices. That's just kind of isn't happening on the S&P. Maybe it's just the fact that for the S&P to be at an all-time high, stocks need to be super, super high. And that means that people could be taking profits there. But it's just something I noticed. In terms of Thanksgiving, the market is closed on Thursday and there is a half day on Friday. So, maybe some people don't want to be holding certain stocks over the 1 day break and then the half day on Friday. So there definitely is a potential scenario of that happening. So I am keeping that in mind. Light volume Wednesday and half day Friday. If we dump, it might be on light volumes and people are pumped on Yellen will be back up next week. Not too sure what the last part of that sentence means. But yeah, I definitely am managing my risk and taking precaution. 48 viewers in the stream. Thank you guys so much for the new people coming in. We're very close to the most amount of viewers I've had in the stream at the same time, so really appreciate it. We're like 3 or 4 people away from that. Make sure to hit that like button if you support the free analysis. Hit that subscribe button because like 80% of my viewers aren't even subscribed. And if you want to send me a tip, it is the first link in the description. But yeah, that's my thoughts on like the market. Another thing that I think is interesting, and I kind of need your guys' help here. The airline industry did really well today. I was looking at American Airlines last night actually, and I was showing how it was testing that 200-day moving average, and if it could break it, it could have a nice day. We were going over it on stream last night. It had a 9% day. United Airlines had a 9% day. So is that because of the fact that Thanksgiving and Christmas are around the corner and people are going on flights? Or is there another reason? I literally don't know. It's just something I noticed. And 2 people on Twitter asked me to look at American Airlines and United Airlines. So I'll take a look at that. But if you guys have any reasoning as to why airlines are up, let me know. Because the technicals are honestly kind of neutral. The technicals weren't like super bullish or anything. Just a vaccine play. Yeah, so I feel like the fundamentals are starting to get better for airlines. Again, obviously airlines got crushed over COVID for obvious reasons. But, with the vaccine coming around, with holiday season and people going to see their families, 2020 being over, maybe those are the reasons why. But we can look at the technicals after the runs up. Just a vaccine play. So I definitely get what you guys are saying. Yeah, I don't think the technicals imply this either, so probably just the overall fundamentals currently. Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary appointment for Biden from Obama administration. She was Fed chair, just macro nonsense. So politics as well. Not too educated on politics, still trying to learn more. Yeah, if we look at American Airlines, I said if it broke the 200-day moving average, that would be the first time American Airlines breaks the 200-day moving average since the middle of February. I talked about this last night on the stream. It did break the 200-day moving average. The next resistance is $15.40, which it actually is really close to that after hours, I'm pretty sure. If it can break 15.40, the next resistance I see after that is 18.32. So that is American Airlines. The support is $14.03 because that used to be the top of the range from August and kind of over here in the beginning of November. But yeah, support 14, resistances 1540 and 1832 1540 can break. That's American Airlines. Clint, I'll try to take a look at Snap. Dan says, no problem, great call. Big Commerce, missed your talk on it. Does Big Commerce still have room to run? Definitely does. And then VRM. So Dan, I actually want to take a look at both of those because those are trade setups from my Twitter. So we will take a look at both of those right after I do United Airlines. United Airlines, very similar to American Airlines, broke the 200-day moving average for the first time since January. Bullish sign for sure. It was trading in this range for a while. The resistance was 39.86. So that is the major resistance, major support on the chart. And the resistance is 48.80. Super simple. We're using a past resistance as support, and we're using a past resistance as a current resistance. So we're just creating horizontal lines where we could see supply or demand. Now that it broke the 200-day moving average, no divergence on the 4-hour, and no divergence on the daily. Same thing for American Airlines, no divergence, just fundamental stuff going on and breaking the 200-day moving average. So all that's left is using support and resistance. James Bond says, please look at Huge. I think I looked at it the other day. I'll try and take a look again. But let's go to Vroom and Big Commerce. Actually, Big Commerce I kind of started off with just to show that it went up 20% since my buy call, which was great. Obviously, bullish divergence, double bottom next to a critical support of an all-time low. Look what happens. You go up 20% once you get all those variables lining up. On the daily, you also had classic bullish divergence, and this is why Big Commerce can still run. Personally, I took profits, but I do understand it can still run. If it pulls back a little bit, I probably will re-enter. But yeah, so you have classic bullish divergence on the daily, which literally just got confirmed. So the moving average has a lot of room to run for sure. And if you also look at the fact that it broke my second target of 78.93, it already broke that. So now 78.93 is the support. So since it broke my second target, the next resistance is 87.46. Now, I'm not saying to buy Big Commerce right now. It messes up your risk to reward ratio because it already did just go up over 20%. So if it does pull back, 5 to 10% after a 20% run in 2 trading days, don't be surprised. But at the same time, if it does continue running because it broke the resistance and it got crushed from $160 all the way to 63, it could keep running. So at this point, Big Commerce is just a coin flip. It's a 50-50. And that's just what happens when you have a 20% run in 2 days. Yeah, that is Big Commerce. Now we can take a look at Vroom, which I posted this morning, but I've been going over on stream for like weeks now. Literally, I was going over Vroom on stream when the price was 33. You see this big red candle right here? That was the bottom on Vroom. I was literally going over Vroom on that day. And I said, hey, it's at a support line, and there's classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour. And since then, it's up over 10%, and it actually ran up to 39.64 today. And I still think it looks good. It flipped the resistance of $37 into support, and after hours it's actually sitting at $38. Then if we look at the daily, you also have classic bullish divergence, and you broke out of a down sloping flag. So Vroom looks pretty good to me. These are very common things to see at the bottom of a price range: a flag, divergence, flipping resistance into support. Of course, nothing is ever certain, but these are usually all the things I look for when I enter a trade. But yeah, that is Vroom. Wouldn't Black Friday be a catalyst for Big Commerce? It could be. They do host a lot of, e-commerce websites. So definitely, I just think that it's undervalued in general. It could be due for a pullback, just because it did go up 20% in 2 days. But I think long-term Big Commerce is still undervalued. I've used the Big Commerce platform myself. I had an internship where I was pretty much using Big Commerce every day. And I think it's like $30 a month for the basic hosting on Big Commerce. So they're bringing in revenue. E-com is blowing up. I do think fundamentally BigCommerce is a good long-term play, but from a technical standpoint, it's currently a 50-50. But that is BigCommerce and what is it called? VRM. John Graham, would you mind looking at SNDL? So thank you very much for the tip. Definitely will look at Sundial. I don't know if you typed that in chat before. I might have missed it. Oh yeah, you did. You did type it in chat before. I'm sorry I missed it. I was just so excited with the charts. But thank you again very much for the tip, and I will definitely take a look at SNDL for you. Hopefully you're still here. I'm sorry if you're not here anymore and I just missed it. I just didn't notice the chat. But what is up, Justin, Vinay, Nico? Yeah, Sundial is looking pretty good, but also there is risk on it. It's not like a 70-30, it's more like a 60-40. All right, so John's still in here. Good, at least he gets to see the analysis. Again, apologies for the delay. But yeah, why does Sundial look good? Because you have hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. Hidden bullish divergence implies price continuation to the upside. If it can start working, here could be an example of hidden bullish divergence. Where is that? If I can find it. All right, it's right here. So this is an example of hidden bullish divergence. As you can see, this is Peloton. It was creating hidden bullish divergence right here, and it went up from $98 to $115, creating that hidden bullish divergence, which is kind of weird with what it's doing right now. But you get the point. It implies price continuation to the upside. It usually occurs when you have a run up and then you have a dip, and then the hidden bullish divergence incurs that the dip will not go too much further and that it could be reversing back to the upside very soon. So that is what Sundial is doing. Let me go back to that chart. It's already on my watch list. So yeah, Sundial looking pretty interesting. Let me just clean it up a bit for you. No divergence on the daily, I'm pretty sure. Well, technically, if we're being technical right now, there is classic bullish divergence on the daily. So let me clean this up for you, and it's going to be kind of hard to see this. But as you can see, the MACD made a higher low while the price made a lower low. So technically there's hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour, which is implying a continuation of the short-term rally. And then there is classic bullish divergence on the daily, which is implying a reversal of the overall macro downtrend. So the oscillators do look good on a sundial. The thing to keep in mind is it gapped up from 24 cents, went all the way up to 34 cents today, or 35 cents today. So it did just have a massive day, and obviously it did sell off. Maybe it was a breakaway gap just because of how big it was. But again, you know, you're already seeing a pullback. After you go up from 24 cents to 35 cents, people are going to want to take profits, and that's just what's currently happening on Sundial. So, you know, definitely be careful with that. People could still be selling, people could be shorting. So just look at, you know, how the volume is going in the morning in pre-market, stuff like that. But in terms of the MACD, it does look good. Thank you, JJ, for the subscription. The MACD, the oscillators look good. Obviously, there's no pattern here. There's just two candles. The daily candle wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. And yeah, if it can break 35 cents, it could literally, like, go crazy. It's just obviously 35 cents is quite a bit away. I don't know what it went to after hours. But yeah, that is SNDL. The good thing is the hidden bullish divergence and classic bullish divergence. The risk is the fact that it just went up from 25 cents to 35 cents. So just look at how it opens tomorrow morning. Thank you guys very much for 38 likes. Let's get 2 more likes and hit 40 likes. If you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button to help grow the channel if you support the free analysis. And if you want to send me a tip, it's the first link in the description. Let's keep running through tickers. Trying to make sure I don't like miss anything. Let's see what else we got here. Pretty interesting. I'm seeing like chats from like people talking about other people. I don't know if they're talking to me or they're just talking between themselves. Justin Hoskins, why would you want a cup and handle when there's a bull flag? Oh yeah, so Justin is talking about. Let me just fix this. I know I'm being like pretty all over the place right now. I'm just trying to make sure I get everything down. So sorry for that. But Justin was talking about a potential cup and handle on Fisker, and this is why I don't think it's a cup and handle. And also, I don't think it matters. You don't need a cup and handle, and the last cup and handle did not go well for Fisker. So on a cup and handle, what you want to do is this. You want to have a nice cup. You want to have a rounding bottom, which means over time the price is rounding out to the bottom and then it rounds back up to the top. So it's a very technical way of the shares moving over from the bears to the bulls. That's what a cup is basically implying. Again, charts are just the psychology of traders being visualized. That's all charts are, and they can be used for probability. The reason that this is not a cup and handle is because it did not have a perfect cup. What it did was it did this. So, it just wasn't a perfect cup. But again, it doesn't really matter because you do have a bull flag on the daily. You have a right angled descending broadening wedge on the 1 hour with hidden bullish divergence on the 1 hour. So again, I started the stream off with Fisker. The risk is down to $15, which was your previous resistance. But aside from that, it does look like it's gaining bullish signals once again after falling back from my literal target at 1821. When the price was $9, I literally put this line on my chart of 1821. Like literally the price was $9 and I threw 1821 as a resistance on my chart because that was the target of the bullish butterfly. So we may even have an inverse head and shoulders with Fisker. I don't know what time frame you're talking about, but I don't see it on the daily. If you're talking about this right here being the head and this right here being the left shoulder, you couldn't call it an inverse head and shoulders unless it came back down to like $13.50, which would be terrible. So is an inverse head and shoulders possible? If it dumps to $13.50, yes, it is possible. But this current price is just way too high to be calling it an inverse head and shoulders. It needs to come back down towards at least $14 for that to even be considered an inverse head and shoulders. Let's keep it going. Two people want to look at DS, so let's look at that. Drive Shack. I don't think I've ever looked at it. Let's see if it broke the 200-day. It closed 1 cent over the 200-day moving average, and that is the first time it is over the 200-day moving average since the September of 2019. So that is a great thing on DS. There is also hidden bullish divergence on the daily. You made a higher low on price, but you made a lower low on the MACD. So the daily is looking good with the break of the 200-day moving average and the divergence. You already have divergence as well in the 4 hour, but it's currently playing out. As you can see, it went from 130 to 165, so I'm not going to chart that divergence. But it's looking pretty good. It broke out of whatever structure it was in. Kind of looked like a pennant over here. It looks good. If it can really clear this 200-day moving average, I just use horizontal resistances as support. 194. Look at how solid of a resistance 194 is. Like for real. 194 was the high over here, the high over here, the high over here, the high over here, the high over here. So 194 is a major resistance. And if it really does break this 200-day moving average and it gets to like 170, there's a very high probability that 194 would be next. The only thing is, again, it was up 13% today, so it already did have a nice run. But of course, if it does break this 200-day moving average, the run will definitely, not definitely because nothing is certain, but there will be a high probability of the run continuing. Otherwise, the 200-day moving average could be a reversal area. I'll give you a like for that to make it to 40. Thank you for hitting the 40 likes on the stream, guys. Thank you for being the 40th like, Mylene. Thank you guys all for the support. Really appreciate us hitting 40 likes in, how long have I been live? 40 likes in 40 minutes, pretty much. I haven't even been live for 40 minutes, so pretty much like 1 like a minute. I'll definitely take it. Sure, we could look at LCA. If I can find it. I want to see if it broke that resistance I was talking about, or if it pulled back at it. It's still right at that resistance, or technically not. It's all right. Well, that's good timing. Thank you for the $3 donation, Vinay. Literally looking at LCA right now, so that worked out pretty well. You guys got it there. So Mylene, thank you for the subscription. This is what pretty much happened. And again, this is why you use historical resistances. So I've been charting LCA since the price was literally at $11. And why did I say $11 was a good time to buy? Because that was the previous all-time low. Literally simple as that. Since $11, it went up to $16. And it was just in this upsloping channel. Once it broke out of the upsloping channel, it was using 1527 as resistance. That was resistance for like about 3 days. Now, why was that the resistance? Because it was your high from July 21st, and it was also your high from September 28th. So literally, I think last night on stream, I said if LCA can break 1527, it should go right to 1653. You guys look at the chart. It went right to 1653. I literally looked at this last night, and I literally said if it can break that level, the next resistance is really 1653. It literally ran a little bit higher, closed under it, so that is still the resistance. So now the new support on LCA is 1527. Once you break past the resistance, it becomes your support, or it should become your support, but you have to see how it acts at that price range, and your resistance is 1653. So that's your support, that's your resistance. If it can break this resistance, it's probably headed to around all-time highs. If it can break 1653 and close candles above it, the next stop is probably like 18 bucks, just because there's no resistance until then. Same thing, same reason of why I said if it broke 1527, you'll see $16 very fast. There's just no resistance until then because it literally dumped. So that is LCA. What new setups are you looking at? Good call on LCA. I think we just looked at a chart that I want to keep on my watch list. What was it? I don't know if it was one of them. I can't remember which one it was, unfortunately. Was it this one? I'm not too sure. I'll look at those after the stream, and I'll probably put out tweets tomorrow. Basically what I do after my stream is if we went over something that I think looked, really good, I'll monitor how it opens in the morning, and if it opens nicely and does what I want it to do, I'll post it on my Twitter. And that is exactly what I did with 2 new trades today. I dropped these on my Twitter if you missed them. I'm going to go over them really quick for you guys, but these are my 2 newest trades. The first one is Vroom. Downsloping channel on the daily. It broke out of it and back tested it. Classic bullish divergence on the daily. If we look at the 4-hour, there is also classic bullish divergence, and it flipped the $37 resistance into support. The chart is currently showing you $37, which was my buy level, and after hours it's sitting at $38. Targets would be the gap fill at $39.99. After that, about $44, which was your previous major resistance. If it somehow breaks 44, which will probably not be easy, the next target is 52, which was your resistance pretty much in October. So that's one of them. The other one is AMWL. Basically, you also have classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour here on both your RSI and MACD. And you're using your previous all-time low as a support. Okay, I need you guys to understand this. We got 40 people in here. Take a look at this. Your previous all-time low is being used as your current support, and you have classic bullish divergence, right? Let's take a look at TTCF. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one. Let's take a look at, where is it? If I can find it. My watch list is so big. All right, this is LCA. Okay. When it was $11, it was using the previous all-time low as support, and at the time there was also classic bullish divergence. Okay. So at $11, previous all-time low support with divergence. Since 11, it went to $16.53. That's example 1. Let's go to example 2. BigCommerce, okay? It was using the previous all-time low as a support with classic bullish divergence, and it went up 20% in 2 days. Okay? I'm trying to make it as clear as possible. I'm not going to even say it, okay? I just showed you 2 examples of it. Hopefully that explains what I want to explain. And to come back to this chart one more time, AMWL is using the previous all-time low as support with divergence, and it's kind of feeling weird to say that now because I just said it like 20 times. So hopefully that wasn't annoying. I wasn't trying to be annoying. I was just trying to make a point. And that's how I this thing right here, this method right here, is how I find the bottom on a lot of stocks. This is one of my methods. I haven't really talked about it on stream too much, but if you've been looking at my trades, you probably already can tell. I've seen this dozens of times where what I just talked about happens, and as I just showed you in 2 other examples, crazy things can happen when you use the previous all-time low as support with divergence. So that is AMWL. And again, even though I was like saying that 20 times, that's just for education. I'm not saying this is 100% going to be the bottom. There's no way to know. It's, you know, even if it has a 75% probability, it's not a 100% probability. There's still a 25% chance of some bad news coming out, some short attacks going on. Literally anything could happen, and it could go lower. So you have to manage your risk, set a stop loss of what you're comfortable with. Just make sure it's not in an area where the price can bounce off of, because that can screw you over. So not certain, but high probability. That's all I can say. We just saw it on 2 different charts. I'm sorry if this was like a super long thing. I just wanted to give some education there. Hopefully it helps some of you guys out with what I do. What is up, Rooster? How you doing? 5 more likes to hit 50 likes, guys. Can we do it? Make sure you hit that like button. If you support what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button. I could like grab it right now, right up there. Hit that subscribe button. And if you want to send me a tip, it's the first link in the description. So let's go back to chat requests. Sure, we could take a look at HCAC, which is a SPAC, Hennessy Capital. Okay, decent. I don't know. It's just like, it already played out in my opinion. Like, I've been going over HCAC for a long time. I said if it could get back over $10.40, which was a major support 2 different times, that could be very good. It also broke the 200-day moving average. And when you do things like that, you can run, and that is what HCHC did. And it went up from $10 to $12.26. Unfortunately, it did not use $11.26 as a support, because that was the previous resistance. It could have been a support, but it just wasn't. So I don't know. This one's just kind of looking weird to me. There's no divergence. It is technically still overbought, and there is a gap to fill at probably gonna have to fix this 1 second. There's a gap to fill at 1084. So it's not too far away from 1084. The 2 scenarios would probably be either scenario A, it goes to fill the gap at 1084, which is pretty close, or scenario B, it opens over 1126, and it could use that as support because it was resistance for so long. So you really want it to be over 1126 for a short-term continuation to the upside. But if it can't hold over 1126, probably going to go fill the gap. But that is HCAC. Sure, we could take a look at PIC. Very volatile day for PIC. Posted this rounding bottom yesterday. 1229 was the breakout, and after it broke out of this pattern I posted, it went to 1358, so about a 10% run after that breakout, and then it sold off pretty heavily. Why did it sell off? I mean, a bunch of EVs and SPACs were selling off like midday today. just that whole entire sector, which we did talk about last night. I did warn you guys about this literally last night. We had like a 10-minute conversation. And I'm not saying the bubble popped or anything. You're just getting pullbacks because when, dozens of companies in the same industry just pump and pump and pump, people are eventually going to take profits. People are going to eventually start shorting those insane rallies, and I think that's what we're starting to see. Doesn't mean it can't bounce back. I think PIC did close at about $12 after hours. But yeah, one thing I do like is that it went to fill the gap today. If I hide this, as you can see, PIC literally went to fill the gap and bounced off that. I've been showing the $11.54 gap on my stream for 2 days now, and today it filled. I did warn about this multiple times, and that was like literally the low of today. It filled the gap and then it bounced back up to $12. So yeah, I mean, it's super simple. Your support is $11.54 and your resistance is $12.29. If you confirm a candle close, a 4-hour candle close over $12.29, the next support after that would be $13.55, which was the high today. So super simple. Green line is your support. The high from today is your resistance. It is going to be very volatile. And again, in my opinion, this is more of a long-term fundamental play than it is a short-term technical play. But, you make your decision on how you want to trade it. Just, do keep in mind it will be very volatile in the future, both good days and bad days. The whole entire industry is just very crazy right now. CIIC going crazy for sure. Yeah, we could take a look at Fubo, see what's up with that. If you guys remember, I had I think 5 for 5 calls on Fubo. What was it, in the last 2 weeks? I haven't looked at it too much this week, quite honestly. Just hasn't really crossed my mind. But here was the story with Fubo. It had an ascending triangle. It broke out. It went to $21, which was the 1/618 golden ratio. I already readjusted my Fibonacci lines because you have to readjust Fibonacci. That's just how it works. When the price changes, you have to adjust. But at the time, $21 was your 1/618. Then it dumped to $15, and I literally put out a tweet saying it could bounce off of $15. You can go on my Twitter. I put out a tweet saying look for a bounce on Fubo at $15. Since it bounced off of literally $15, it went up to $27.42. Which wasn't the 2/618, so it didn't really hit the 2/618. If I'm being completely honest, I don't know what it's sitting at after hours. We could probably take a look. Just want to give the best reading. Might be at the price that the chart is showing. I'm not too sure. About 2% up after hours, so 25.50. So it's a little bit higher than what TradingView is showing, pretty much right here. What I don't like on Fubo is that on 3 different 4-hour candles, you couldn't break $28. On 3 separate tries, you went up to 28 and you failed to break it. So 28 is a very clear resistance. It could be the top of this rally. But if you break it, obviously it's not. I'm just giving you probability. There's about a 60% bearish edge and about a 40% bullish edge. It just looks kind of toppy, but again, probability just kind of gets thrown out the window when you have something parabolic. It just becomes more of a coin flip. So we'll have to see. I don't really have any calls for Fubo at this point. I already had 5 calls in a row that played out perfectly. At this point, it's a coin flip. Just I'm not shorting it. I'm not longing it. I'm just going to let it do whatever it does, and I'm going to be playing other opportunities with more probability. That's just how I prefer to trade for the longevity of my account, because you could win big on 50-50 probabilities once in a while, but doing that every single trade will probably ruin your account portfolio. There's no edge here anymore. It's just a straight line up. 3 different times that couldn't break 28. I just don't know. DraftKings. I haven't seen what DraftKings is up to. Again, the story with DraftKings, I had a Head and Shoulders, which I warned about on Twitter. It broke the neckline of the Head and Shoulders, went to $33 or $34. Then it created classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour, and it created hidden bullish divergence on the daily. And since that point, It went up 41%. I actually went over it at 39, and I said it was a buy at 39. Then it went to like what, $50 or something like that. Yeah, it went to $50 after $39, and now it's pulling back. Did close under 48.30. So your new support is $44, which was your previous resistance. Over here, over here, over here, over here. $44 was a resistance for a long time. So it would be nice to see that turn into a support. I don't know if it's gonna get down there. But yeah, your support is 44 and your resistance is right over you at 48.30. If it can break 48.30, probably gonna be headed for much higher prices. But yeah, support 44, resistance 48.30. See what else? Sure, we could take a look at Best Buy. Thank you guys so much for 52 likes. Really appreciate it. You guys are crushing it today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you want to send me a tip, it's the first link in the description. This is a Best Buy. I don't know. It's, call me crazy, but that kind of looks like a triple top, which is a bearish pattern. You really just failed to break that price 3 different times. That's the first one, that is the second one, and that is the third one. So I wouldn't call it a head and shoulders, because the shoulders were like the same price as the head. So I'm just gonna call it a triple top. And your neckline would be $110. If Best Buy falls under 110, that'll be a confirmed triple top, and that would be horrible. It will probably send the price down to 103. So yeah, looks kind of bearish to me. If it falls under 110, probably going to go to 103. That's just the next support. No divergence on the daily. No divergence on the 4-hour. So it doesn't look too good to me personally in terms of the technicals. Sure, we can take a look at Alibaba, which I think had a good day today, if I'm not mistaken. Just checking my alerts and my crypto. It's doing all right. This is Alibaba. Interesting. Had a upsloping channel. I warned about it right when it broke out of it. Then it went down to 254. Then at 254, I went over it on stream, and I looked at these two candles right here. There was a bullish pin bar and a bullish engulfing candle, which are bullish reversal candles. Right at the bullish pin bar and the bullish engulfing candle, it reversed. It broke 265, which was your resistance over here and your support over here. And since it broke 265, it's been rallying, which is exactly what I talked about. And the target is $290, which is a gap fill. So yeah, support 265, target 290. INPX, sure, we could take a look at that. And Pixion, so I did look at this and it broke out. Falling wedge, very nice looking falling wedge. It broke out of the falling wedge. The target would be a gap fill to $1.50. I think I looked at this maybe last night. But even though the target is 150, look at where it pulled back at, the 200-day moving average. Literally, this like down sloping red line is the 200-day moving average on my chart. Literally went up to the 200-day moving average, to the cent, like literally within 1 cent of the 200-day moving average, and pulled back there a very heavy amount. So if you guys are charting, definitely throw the 200-day moving average on your chart, because you would have had no idea about that without it. But at the same time, it was also at the same exact high from October 5th. So your resistances are 135 and 150. 150 would probably be the target. And then your support, I don't know, probably something like this. 115 could be your support, because that was your support over here and over here, and it was your resistance over here. So yeah, support $1.15, resistance 135, gap fill 150. Those are the levels to know. Carnival Cruises, sure, we can take a look at that. Let us see what's up with that. Make sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button. Thank you guys for all the support. Carnival is just another one of those travel plays that broke the 200-day moving average. A lot of these travel industries are starting to bring some life back together. Pretty interesting. Broke the 200-day moving average for the first time since January, very similar to American Airlines and United Airlines. And this one is super simple yet again. It's just like United Airlines, very similar chart. The resistance is going to be the high from June 8th, which is $25.32. And your support is also very simple. It's just going to be wherever the 200-day moving average is. Currently, the 200-day moving average is 1707, which is more than 10% away. But the 200-day moving average will move, so you just got to throw it on your chart and see where it is at whenever you chart it. In terms of like a horizontal support, yeah, you could probably say 1897 could be one. Like $19. Now, why do I say that? Because it was your high on March 26th and it was your top in the beginning of September. So that is CCL. We'll take a look at Apple and KCAC for sure. I already have them charted probably. So pretty interesting on Apple. What basically happened here was it broke out. I had the resistance right here. It's this green downsloping line. It broke out of it, and what it pretty much went to do was back test it. So it back tested the breakout, which happens about half the time. So this could be a bounce level, your previous resistance turning into support. But the thing I would worry about is that there is still a gap fill to about $111. So it does not look like that gap filled on the daily. So keep that gap fill in mind. No divergence on the daily. And no divergence on the 4-hour. So yeah, looking pretty interesting. It is above the VWAP. Miles above the 200-day moving average. Pretty much implying short-term neutral, long-term bullish. Let's go look at KCAC. What's up with this? Wow. Oh my gosh. So KCAC broke out of this green resistance line. I charted it when it was $13. These orange lines were my targets. It hit every single one of those targets. And then after it broke those 3 orange lines, which were my initial targets, I charted the $19 resistance and I charted the $23 resistance. It broke $19 and it went to the next resistance, which was $23.30. It went inches above $23.30 today, did not close over it, and then it pulled back pretty heavily after hitting $23.30. Now the reason that it pulled back at $23.30 was because it was your high from September 4th, right before a major dump down to $11. So it just made a V-shaped recovery. This could turn into a cup and handle, but currently it's just a rounding bottom. Your resistance is $23.30, and your supports are the yellow line and these 3 orange lines. Super simple. Your past resistances will turn into supports. And yeah, that is KCAC. Merger vote tomorrow. Scared of a pump and dump. Definitely could be a toss-up with the merger vote. Yeah, no clue with how that will go. Let's see what else we got here. Thoughts on the potential of the SPAC APXT merging with AvePoint. I don't have any thoughts on that. Unfortunately, I have no clue what either of those companies are. Sorry. Let's see what else we could look at. Let's take a look at REGN. Is that Regeneron? Yeah, it is. So, Regeneron on a nasty downtrend. It just doesn't look good, if I'm being honest. There's really no major support until $425. It broke under the 200-day moving average. It had a rounding top, as you can see right here. It just I'm not going to spend too much time on this. It just doesn't look that good to me, if I'm being honest. Maybe you could use 475 as a support, because that was your high from October 5th of 2017, and it was also like a little double bottom area recently, but that is still like 5% away, so it doesn't look too good to me, if I'm being honest. Sure, we could take a look at PS plural site. Let's see what's up with that. Again, guys, we're at 54 likes. I'm pretty sure 6 of you have not liked the video, so if that is one of you, let's run it up to 60 likes. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to send me a tip, it is the first link in the description. I'll try to look at RYAM plural site. I don't know, let's see if there's any divergence. Not currently on the 4 hour. Not really on the daily. It's also under a place where it should not be under, which is 1644. That's not good. Look what happened here. It broke under 1644, it gapped down, then it retested the previous resistance from over here of 1644. That became, the previous support of 1644 from over here became your resistance over here. I talk about this all the time. Resistances can become supports, and supports can become resistances. They're just critical areas where the thesis of market psychology can change, where people can be either bearish or bullish, hence the support and resistance levels. So not looking good. It's under 1644. There's no divergence. There is a small or a decent size resistance at 1479 though. Commando, thank you for the $6 donation. Definitely will take a look at those too. So we got we have PLM and NLS. So let's take a look at those two. Really appreciate the 6. So PLM and then NLS. Let's see what's up with those. I already have PLM charted. It broke out of this range, it went up really high, and now it's just back in the range. So I don't know about like a major edge currently. It looks like it already kind of like played out. No divergence on the daily. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. Yeah, I don't know, it just broke out of this downsloping resistance, then it went up to a pretty deep Fibonacci retrace. It also filled a gap. There was a gap like right there, filled that gap perfectly. That could have been a good target. It was also the support level from over here. So it reversed at a very obvious place, if I'm being honest. Then it pulled down like crazy. Probably gonna have to look at the 1 hour. No edge there either, so there's just not much an edge on this one. It's just in this range where your support is $3.26 and your resistance is $4.19. That's PLM. Let's move on to NLS. No divergence on the 4 hour. No divergence on the daily, and it just had like a double top. Broke the neckline of the double top. I don't know what this line is here for. I might have been using Fibonacci or something. But yeah, the next support on NLS, or at least the next major support, is 1602. That was your resistance from like August and September. But one thing to note is that it's kind of, if I probably look at like the 4 hour maybe, if you look at the 4 hour, it's kind of creating its own little support currently. Literally where the price is, like 1780 is a support. If 1780 doesn't hold, the next support is 1602. So it's either bounce like right here, or you're probably gonna go down to 16 bucks. No divergence, unfortunately, on either the RSI or the MACD. So a little bit better than the last chart. Actually, a little bit. I said it the wrong way. The last chart was a little bit better, if I'm not mistaken. Um, it's just in the middle of a range, so this one's neutral. But this one, it's kind of bearish. The only way I see it going up is if it literally bounces like right here, because it has been creating support at 1781. So that's just my look at these two charts. Hope it helped you. There is potential bounce areas, but the macro is just decently risky in my opinion. 3 more legs to 30 legs. Can we get there, guys? Cardiac, I did look at AMWL, and Brian, I did look at DraftKings. You're just gonna have to scroll back to find them. Otherwise, at the end of all my streams, I always post the timestamps for everything I went over in the comments, so you can find it there after the stream. And I did also look at UALKM. I could probably look at it one more time for you, if you're still here. So UAL broke the $39 resistance that I was trying to break literally since the COVID crash. It also broke the 200-day moving average, so very bullish signs right there. Brian, I will take a look at SITM as soon as I'm done with this. Thank you very much for the $5 donation. But yeah, UAL, it broke the 200-day moving average as well. First time it's over that since January. And truly the next resistance is 48.80. So 48.80 could come pretty easily. About like a 65 to 70% probability that $48 will come next. And then there's like a 30% probability that it will backtest the breakout, even though technically it already kind of it broke out, and then it backtested $39 twice. So it already confirmed that the previous resistance is now a support. So your support is $39.86 and your resistance is $48.80. But the macro is starting to look a lot better. Like genuinely, in 3 or 4 months you could be at much higher prices now that you broke this resistance and broke the 200-day moving average. So I just got a donation from, I'm just loading it back up on my side, from Brian, who's requesting SITM. Thank you again for the 5. And let's take a look at that. It's just a high flyer, pulling back after hitting an all-time high. What I do like is that on the 4-hour, no, you can't call it. I was going to say hidden bullish divergence, but you technically are at a lower low on price from this low, so you can't consider it that. Let's take a look at the daily. No divergence either, and there's not much of a structure. So all it really comes down to here is this high from September 1st. So your support is 79.38, and you already see that being the support. So this is a really good example of a past resistance becoming a support. You could have showed me this chart when it was $84, and I would have told you it's probably going to 79 next. Now why? Because that's just your previous resistance. And here you can see your previous resistance is turning into a support, where it has been bouncing off of $79 since November 18th. Super simple. If it can hold $79, it could run back up to like $83, which is obviously not like a great profit, so I don't know about that. If it does break 83, then there's not much resistance for a long time. There's even a gap fill at like 94. So the support is $79.38 and the resistance is $83.21. You just really do not want to fall under $79.38, because if you do, it could get pretty ugly, if I'm being honest. So you want to hold $79.38 long enough to potentially break 83, and that could keep you in an uptrend. But if you can't hold $79.38, be careful. Thank you very much for the tip. Thank you for the support as well, KM. Really appreciate it. Vinay says, champion any stock suggestions like Overstock. You predicted perfectly on Overstock. Any other opportunities like that? So he's talking about Overstock right now. We could take a look at that. And I already went over them in the beginning. Trade man, I will look at huge. I promise you that'll come up right after this. Okay, you've been requesting it for a while. I'm sorry. I will look at it after this. Yeah, overstock. I posted at 54. It went literally right to my target at $68.42, and that's where it's showing resistance. I charted that target when the price was 54. It literally ran up right to that target, and then it pulled back there. So very, very simple. There was a falling wedge, classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour, and then there was also classic bullish divergence on the daily. So it had a 26% run in about like a week and 2 days. Super great trade setup. I've gotten like literally dozens of DMs on Twitter solely because of this trade setup, like from people saying really humbling things about how I helped them out, and that really makes my day. So very happy that this one played out perfectly. But he's asking me if I have new ones like this perfect trade that I put out. This one will probably go down in history, man. It was just so perfect. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I put out 2 new trades today, which I went over earlier in the stream, so I'm not gonna go over them again. But VRM divergence on the 4-hour and daily flipped the $37 resistance into support, and then AMWL divergence on the 4-hour RSI and MACD using the previous all-time low as a support with a gap fill to 27.89, but also a resistance of 24.90. That doesn't, really go into it because I already did go over it for like 10 minutes. So if you want to find that, just scroll back. But I will take a look at huge now. So let's take a look at that, and then Jordan, I'll probably go to Tilray. But I think I did do Tilray. I don't know if I really went over it or if I was just talking about how the trade played out perfectly. Well, not perfectly, but it's up quite a bit. Went very close to the target today. Huge, it's at an all-time low. There's no divergence on the 4-hour. There's no divergence on the daily. There's really no edge on this chart right now. I'm gonna skip this one. We're gonna go to Rocket instead. So Rocket posted it at $18, and it went to $23. So like a 13 or 15% gain right there, because I posted at like 1980 or something. I don't know. But it did have a nice run. Didn't really hit the target, and I think that was due to the fact that it created hidden bearish divergence on the daily, which I have been warning about on stream for a while now. It created hidden bearish divergence, and what did I say could happen with the hidden bearish divergence? It could go retest the $20 support. It did that today. It went down right to $20, and it bounced off of that exact level that I've had on my chart for like 3 weeks now. So while it did bounce over $20 today, it's back in the falling wedge. So I don't know. And now the hidden bearish divergence is actually confirmed. As you can see, there's like that little red wick right there. So the hidden bearish divergence is confirmed now. Really the only hope that Rocket has is not falling under $20 and going back to green on the MACD very soon. So it's just not looking as good as it used to be. No divergence on the 4-hour. But maybe you could call it an inverse head and shoulders. You do have a left shoulder right here, a head over here, a right shoulder over here. The only thing with that is that the neckline would be kind of weird. The neckline of the inverse head and shoulders would be something like that, which is not usually what you get with an inverse head and shoulders. Usually with an inverse head and shoulders, it's like a straight neckline, or it should be kind of straight. I mean, if you even do get a slanted neckline on an inverse head and shoulders, you just don't want it to be like that drastic. You want it to be like something like this. So I don't know. Maybe you could say inverse head and shoulders for sure. Just the neckline is kind of weird if it is one. But that's not a bad way to look at it. Definitely could play out. But I mean, regardless of the inverse head and shoulders, because obviously since this would be your right shoulder, the easiest way to put it is just it needs to hold $20. And if it can't hold $20, then you're probably going to go back down to the demand line of the falling wedge. So it's either bounce at $20 or take caution. But yeah, that's what I think about the inverse head and shoulders. Hunchback of Notre Dame, inverse head and shoulders. Sure. we could call it that, I guess. 2 more likes to 60 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. I just messed up my words right there. I don't know why. But hit that like button. Literally, just do it. It'll help support the stream. I'm just messing with you guys. Really appreciate the support, for real. I'm just trying to be a little bit entertaining because I know this can get very bland at times with just me saying a bunch of numbers, running through charts super quick. So try to just have a little periods where I just talk to you guys. But for real, thank you guys very much for the support. XP we could look at. I don't know. How did it even close? $50. It's just kind of weird. I mean, this one has classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour and hidden bullish divergence on the daily. But the issue with XP today was it couldn't close over 51.34. You know, it really needs to get a daily close over 51.34, which is what I mentioned in my tweet that I put out. So yeah, I mean, I know we went over this last night, and you know, it's the same exact thing. It looks good, but it needs to break 51.34. If it can't break 51.34, the divergence isn't going to play out. It needs to break 51.34 and close a daily candle over that level. If that happens, then it could be headed for a retest of the all-time highs. But you need that to happen first. So it's super simple. Break 51.34 and run, or don't, and the next major support is $40. So yeah, that is EXPI. Huge, don't be too quick to dismiss. There's an ascending triangle breakout that just occurred today. Where's Huge at? An ascending triangle on Huge. Ascending triangle breakout that just occurred. Let's see. I'm looking at the 1-hour. Nah, man, I don't see any ascending triangle here, if I'm being honest. So I don't know. Not on the 1-hour, not on the 4-hour, not on the daily. Zoom in from the look at the daily. Still, all right, I'm looking at the daily. There's no ascending triangle here. There's no way to make an ascending triangle out of this. An ascending triangle is this. That's an ascending triangle, and you do not have an upsloping demand line, so it's not an ascending triangle. Sure, we could take a look at Fastly and Miss Goodridge. I will try to look at RYAM. So let's look at Fastly. Probably already have it charted. Yep. Really simple on Fastly. Sorry about that. So basically the major support on Fastly is 74.60. You can see how many times it bounced off of that level, and it broke back above it, which is good. And currently it's just in a upsloping channel. This is quite literally a perfect channel. This might be the best channel I've ever seen in my life, other than Cartoon Network when I was a kid. But this might be one of the best channels I've ever seen. Like, just look how perfect it is. Look how many times it touched the resistance line. Look how many times it touched the support line. Just a perfect channel. It's at the demand line of the channel. And it's also over $80, which is like kind of a resistance level that I broke. So it's looking alright. Just in an upsloping channel. And it's just going to be in an uptrend until it breaks out of the channel. Super simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Yeah. Until it is not making higher lows, it's in an uptrend. When it does create a higher, when it does create a lower high, it's out of the uptrend. So as long as it remains in this channel, it should keep on going up. And you know, if it falls out, then be careful. Yeah, interested in Fastly downside with more TikTok bad news. I don't know too much about that, but Fastly is like cloud computing or something like that, I think. It's a technology service, I think. It gapped down on the TikTok ban likely going through. So yeah, I mean, just in the channel, nothing too crazy. So Rooster, thank you for the input on that. What else we got here? COCP and Alright, so I was gonna look at RYAM, so let's do that first. Just give me 1 second, guys. I need to sell a crypto I own. Been trying to monitor that, if I can find it on Coinbase. Sorry guys, just I need to sell this like right now. Alright, so that should be sold. Now let's move on to RYAM. And then we have a couple more to go through. Again, guys, we need one more like for 60 likes. So if 1 out of the 20 people here has not liked the video, come on, just hit that like button. Super easy. Help support the stream if you like the free analysis. And if you have not hit that subscribe button, my camera's inverted, so it's so hard to like point at things. It's right on top of my head. You get the point. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you want to send me a tip, it is the first link in the description. RYAM, it's just on a big uptrend. Looked like it had an ascending broadening wedge, which would look something like that. It broke out of that. So yeah, it broke out of a kind of neutral, maybe even a little bit bearish of a pattern, and it broke out to the upside. So good stuff there, well above the 200-day moving average and well above the VWAP as well. I don't know why candles aren't showing on the daily time frame. I do not have a line chart on, it's just you're seeing the VWAP right now. So these are not the actual price movements. For some reason it's only showing me my VWAP on the daily and not the candles. Alright, so it's because I hit that little button right there, apparently. I don't know. But yeah, in terms of support is really far away from you because you're currently pumping. So there's that. There's another little support right here at 578. Those are your two supports, and then you're right next to a resistance at 734. 734 breaks. The next resistance is 943. Super simple. Those are your 4 levels to look at. It is very volatile. It is up like crazy in the past month. No divergence at all. So those are your levels to look out for. 734 and 943 resistance, and 490 and 578 support. What else we got here? I think we'll look at 2 more and we'll probably call it there. Thank you guys so much for 61 likes. You guys literally crushed it tonight. Already have about 300 playbacks on the stream with 61 likes. You guys are crazy. For real. Thank you guys so much for that. It means the world to me. So let's look at OPES, which is BurgerFi. I love BurgerFi a lot. Great burgers. I've looked at OPES, and look what happened. I think I showed it when it was in this range. I think I showed it like right around here. So it wasn't at the bottom, but it was like in the middle. And you know, it used a previous support as the support over here, and the resistance was 1156. It broke 1156, and what happens when you break a major resistance? It pumps. So it went from 1156 to 1270 something. 200-day moving average is probably your support now. It's like this red line. It might be a little bit hard to see. It's right above the orange line. And next resistance, around like 1350. That kind of looks like the next resistance on this chart. So yeah, support 1156, resistance 1349. Rooster says the initial drop on Fastly was because of their bad forward guidance because of the questions with TikTok going forward. Yeah, the gap down on Fastly was like crazy, for sure. And then we'll look at the last ticker for the night, which is here. Turtle Beach. I was gonna show my headphones, but I don't have Turtle Beach's. I have Razors. I don't know why I thought of that, but whatever. Turtle Beach gaming headphones. It's a pretty weird looking chart. Kind of just looks like a range, and it had like a fake out. So this would be your range on Turtle Beach. Pretty obvious. 2097 is your resistance and 1631 is your support. Right in the middle of the range, no divergence on the daily and no divergence on the 4-hour. So Turtle Beach is as neutral as it gets, being in the middle of a range. 200-day moving average is well under you. Kind of looks like a bear flag over here, but not really. Just weird candles and stuff. So yeah, no major edge, just a neutral channel. But that is Turtle Beach. And I think that should do it for tonight. Thank you guys all for coming out. Thank you for 61 likes, the very incredible tips. Really appreciate all the support. I'm not going to be live tomorrow night because Thursday is Thanksgiving, so the market is closed on Thursday. So what I'll be doing is I'm going to be going live on Thursday night, which will be the night before the market reopens, because on Friday there is a half day on the market. I think the market closes at 1 p.m., but fact check me on that for sure. Not too sure about that. I think I even took a screenshot. I could probably tell you when the market closes on Friday. So the market on Friday closes at 1 p.m. So yeah, no stream tomorrow night because it's closed on Thanksgiving, but I will be streaming on Thanksgiving night. So that'll be cool. Probably get like a little Thanksgiving background on the stream. And then yeah, Friday market's open till 1 p.m. So tomorrow is the last trading day of the week. S&P and most of the indexes are right around all-time highs. So levels are very high. There is still some uncertainty, not too sure where the market will go, so make sure to manage your risk and trade safely. But that does it for tonight. Thank you guys very much for all the support. Shout out to Brian, Henry, Miss Goodridge, Mark, Bala, KM, Steve, and everybody in the stream. I will see you on Thanksgiving night at around like 9:30 or 9:45 EST. But until then, I'll be tweeting out tomorrow on Twitter if you want trade updates and trade setups. So I'll see you guys then. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody here. And I'll see you on Thursday night. Peace out.